One. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. This is the Icebreaker brought to you by the Northwest Sportscast, your number one spot to watch for hockey news on YouTube. I'm here today with special guest Pat's Nation. You want to introduce yourself?
Yes, hello. My name is Tyler. I'm a part of Pat's Nation commentary. Me and Bradley make up the channel, and I'm very happy to be here. I'm on the road to 300 subscribers. I do a lot of live streams on my channel, talk about hockey, do a lot of power rankings. So, yeah, that's pretty much my channel. Go check it out. It'll be in the description below.
Yes, everybody go subscribe to Pat's Nation's YouTube channel. Subscribe to the NW Sportscast as well. We are always wanting to support each other. So if you're a small YouTuber, contact us and maybe you can get on the show as well. But for now, I'm here with Pat's Nation. We're going to talk about the hockey season. We're 3 weeks into the season, I believe, but pretty much almost half the teams, I think, have gotten games canceled due to COVID. Some teams that are still have only played like 5 or 6 games. Some teams have played 10 or 11. Just give me a brief outset. What team do you think is the best right now?
The best team right now for me is the Washington Capitals for me. The Capitals beat the Bruins, even though, Levi, you were saying that the Bruins are the best team in the division. I can agree with that, but now that the Capitals beat them yesterday, I think that the Capitals are just an edge better until they play on Monday.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think the Capitals and Bruins, I feel like they're both Stanley Cup contenders. I actually would go with the Maple Leafs as my best team. I really like the way that they've been playing, and the fact that they have 7 wins. I think that's the most in the NHL. 15 points. That's tied, right? Am I right? They're tied with the Capitals for the most points.
Yes, I think they are. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know why, but I just feel like the Maple Leafs are a slightly better team overall than the Capitals. Part of it, I mean, I don't really know why. When I watch the Maple Leafs, they seem more coherent, and I haven't seen a ton of Capitals games, so maybe that's why. But I really, really like the way the Maple Leafs have been playing.
Yeah, I mean, if you want, I can do my top 5 power rankings, top 5 right now.
Why don't we get into that, actually?
All right, so number 5 for me are the Montreal Canadiens. I was going to put them at my number 1, but they lost. Yes, they lost to the Flames, and I was like, this team's a bit spotty. They were undefeated, but I'm going to put them at 5. For 4, I'm going to put the Tampa Bay Lightning. In my opinion, I think Tampa Bay is still a very good team, but I don't think, due to the NHL, I don't think they can go back-to-back this year. So that is what I think. And number 3 for me are going to be the Boston Bruins. Even though I think if they beat the Capitals, they are the first or second best team in the NHL right now. They're just one step away from being the best team in the NHL, and they just need to beat the Capitals to be that. Number 2 are, for me, we're kind of tied. Toronto Maple Leafs. I really like this team. I mean, they're undefeated, which is quite amazing, and they're a very good team. They beat Edmonton Oilers, and they're doing very well. And number 1, of course, are the Washington Capitals. Levi?
Sorry, I think you cut out for a little bit. You said number 1 Washington Capitals, and after that, what did you say? I'm not hearing you. All right. Well, I'm going to go into my top 5 now. So for me at number 5, I've got the Colorado Avalanche. My reasoning is I know they do have 3 losses, but their plus 14 differential is really, really good stuff. They are not giving up very many goals, and they're scoring quite a few. So I feel like with that plus 14 differential means the Colorado Avalanche are going to be really, really good. And let's see here. It looks like we have lost him. So for now, it's just going to be me. Hopefully he gets back into the meeting. We've got my number 4 team is the Montreal Canadiens. Yes, the Canadiens, they got their first loss. Their first actual loss came yesterday. I like the Canadiens a lot. They like the Avalanche, have a really, really good differential. They're plus 11, 12 points, second in the division. I didn't think this was going to be the Canadiens' year, but right now I feel like the Canadiens have a pretty good shot at contending for that Stanley Cup. Then we got my number 3 team, which is the Washington Capitals. I had them at 3. I know they're undefeated. I'm just not really sold on them right now. I don't know why. Just when I watch them play, I don't think they're the best team in that division right now. I have Boston ahead of them. I have Boston at number 2. Boston has been really hot. They are undefeated at home, which is really, really good to see. They might be the only undefeated team at home. Okay, Vegas is the other one that's undefeated at home, and Pittsburgh. So they're one of 3 teams that are undefeated at home, which is what you want to see. I have Boston at number 2, and at number 1, I've already said this, Toronto Maple Leafs. I just think the Toronto Maple Leafs are the most coherent team, and they have the most wins as well. I know they have also played the most games. All right, and getting Pats Nation back in there. All right, you back? Let's see. Hopefully he's back. You back?
My apologies. Yes,
Yeah,
my
that's all right.
apologies for the issues.
I'll give
Yeah.
you a brief rundown of my top 5. I had Colorado at 5. I had Montreal at 4. I had Washington at 3, Boston 2, and Toronto at number 1.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. I think the Avalanche are a very good team. They're very underrated, and I think they're definitely a sleeper, and they can actually be a title contender, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean the reason I picked Colorado for that 5th spot was because, and it was between a lot of teams. I thought about putting Vancouver. I thought about Vegas. I went with Colorado because of their plus 14 differential, which is the best in the league. So they are scoring a lot more goals than they are giving up. So to me, that indicates that they are going to continue doing really well.
Yeah, I mean, I was also not going to sleep on the Dallas Stars, but because they lost to the Hurricanes twice, it's just like
Yeah,
they were undefeated, and that's like not good now. Can't be.
and it's hard to know what to make of the Stars because they've played the least games out of any team right now. But they are 4-1, and they have a really good goal differential as well, and they're plus 10 through 5 games. I don't know what to expect though from them really because it's so small the sample size. I mean, Vancouver's played 11 games by now, and Dallas is still at 5, so it's hard to know.
Yeah, I mean, because of COVID as well, you have so many teams that are dealing with injuries well and all the COVID and the postponing so that the Stars they haven't played as much of the COVID virus and everything, but I think the Avalanche are definitely sleepers to go in. And one team I definitely do not want to play right now would be the Montreal Canadiens. Even though they lost to the Calgary Flames, I think that they can beat anybody at this point, I think, even though they lost to Calgary. But I think they're a very good team. So, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I thought maybe the Canadians would be title contenders next year. I'm surprised that they have already arrived as title contenders this year, but right now, they look like they could be right there with the Maple Leafs as one of the best teams up in the Canadian division. One division we haven't talked about much is the Central Division. Obviously, you had the Tampa Bay Lightning in your top 5. I did not. I didn't have any team from this division in my top 5. It's a hard division to make out. Who do you think will end up winning that division in the end?
In the end, I mean, the Panthers are looking good, but I didn't rank them. They just look a bit you can call it maybe just a bit they're having some problems. Goal differential's pretty good, but I think Tampa Bay Lightning are still going to be able to win their division and go to the playoffs and make a good run at it, but they're not going to win the Stanley Cup. So I got the Lightning. And then I also have the Blue Jackets being in second and Panthers being in third. That's what I think is going to shape out this whole season.
Yeah, I have the Lightning winning it as well, and I actually have the Panthers in second and the Dallas Stars in third.
Ooh.
But I will say the Blue Jackets are interesting. They're quietly at the top of the division right now, despite having a -2 differential, which is weird to see. But they're very quietly in first place, and I will say Patrick Lane is soon going to be able to join them after he passes the COVID protocol, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
they're going to be legit, I'm sure.
So it'll be interesting to see how Lane is able to reshape that team. I personally do not think Columbus holds on. I think Columbus will probably make the playoffs as that number 4 seed. But it'll be interesting to see if Patrick Lane does arrive, and he might make them into legitimate title contenders.
Yes, I mean, let's talk about the West Division with the Avalanche in the lead right now. Who do you think is going to shape up and be number one in the division?
It's really close to me. If you guys have seen my past episodes of this, I used to think the Golden Knights were the best team in the West. I had them at number one on my power rankings as I think last week I had them at number one. I've dropped them way down, and they haven't actually played. I think they've played one game since I last did this because they've also had cancellations. But right now, I do think Colorado is the best team, but I wouldn't be surprised if Vegas comes out of it either. St. Louis looks like a good third, and the Minnesota Wild at fourth place. I'm quite surprised that they're in fourth place. I'm not sure if they will end up in fourth as the season goes on.
Yeah, I mean, the Wild, they can make a big run at it once again, and I won't be surprised if they face off against the Bruins in the Stanley Cup. I mean, it's going to be one of those teams, but who is going to be the title contender for you? Like, who is going to win the Stanley Cup this year?
I mean, I'm really tempted to go with the Maple Leafs or the Canadiens. I really think that both of those teams up there in Canada are putting together really good seasons. But it's so hard to pick a Canadian team. It's been a long time, if I'm right, since a Canadian team has won it. So I am going to pick the Boston Bruins, to be honest. I think Boston or the Washington Capitals, whichever team makes it out of the East as the winner of the Eastern playoffs, I think will win the Stanley Cup. And right now, I would give Boston a very slight edge, and I would expect Boston to beat the Capitals when they play. They play tomorrow, don't they?
Yes, they do. They do.
So I would expect tomorrow Boston will win that game, and then from there they will take control. Philadelphia has an outside chance as well, maybe Pittsburgh, but I would say the winner of the East will win the Stanley Cup, and I favor the Boston Bruins. How about you?
My title winner is gonna be either the Boston Bruins. Even though I love Boston, I'm being a bit loyal to my team, but I think the Bruins can beat the Capitals tomorrow and prove that they're the best team in the division, and they can split the series with them. And I'm sure that they're going to meet in the conference championships. I won't be surprised they're going to meet each other in there. But what I think is going to happen is we are going to have ourselves the Canadiens are going to win the Stanley Cup, or the Boston Bruins are going to win this one. So those are my two title contenders. And people, I think one team that can really make a run at it is, do not sleep on them, is going to be the Tampa Bay Lightning. They might go back to the Stanley Cup 2 times in a row.
Yeah, and obviously Tampa Bay right now doing something really crazy. I don't think this has been done ever before in recent memory. Getting to the NHL finals, getting to the MLB finals, and getting to the NFL finals. I mean, that city has gotten a lot of winning lately, hasn't it?
It has. I mean, speaking of football, we can say they brought some amazing players for the Tampa Bay Rays, and the Tampa Bay Lightning. They've just been an amazing team. And also, you can say the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with Tom Brady are trying to taking his team to a 10th Super Bowl. He's going to his 10th, bringing Tampa their second in 20 years, and this is going to be a crazy matchup. And yeah, I think we'll definitely do a preview video on that at some point.
Yeah, yeah, that should be a great Super Bowl. And yeah, I mean, if the Lightning, they could, judging by recent trends, Tampa Bay teams are doing really well. So I wouldn't be surprised if Tampa Bay makes it back to that Stanley Cup final. It'd definitely be. I would be more surprised than I was last year, but I would not be surprised at all.
Yeah, and by the way, I am streaming the Super Bowl 5, so you guys can go ahead and check that out. I think it'll be in the link in the description if we do.
Yeah, and that'll be awesome to see. All right,
Yeah,
well,
that will.
at this point, two players in particular are leading the league in points, both of them on the same team, Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid. Do you think that one of these two players deserves to win MVP despite the Oilers not having that well of a season?
Well, Connor McDavid, I mean, he is I think, one of probably the best.
Mm-hmm.
You were telling me, Levi, I've been watching McDavid. He's definitely the best. First overall in 2015 for the Edmonton Oilers, but they are wasting I mean, they're 15th in the power rankings for me, and they are just wasting him away. He's 24, and I think they need to find a way for him to gel with some, and then they can really get going because they're in a losing streak a little bit. No, they won. They're winning tonight, so they need to get back to their winning.
Yeah, Connor McDavid, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe he only has one playoff series win in his career so far, which is pretty sad.
That is crazy, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if I was picking an MVP right now, I would honestly go with Toronto's Mitch Marner. He's been having a really good season, 9 assists, 5 goals, not a ton of penalty minutes. So I feel like he's really helping his team out. And the reason I would pick him over the Oilers guys is just because his team is that much better than the Oilers.
Yeah, I mean, an MVP for me, even though I'm sticking with my Bruins, it's got to be Brad Marchand. I mean, he almost pulled out the W against Washington yesterday with that game-tying one to go to overtime, but Alex Ovechkin had that dagger just in the stomach for the Bruins, and it was just a horrible way of going out, but they did come back. But in my opinion, I think Brad Marchand or Bergeron or McDavid are the MVPs.
Yeah, and Marchand and Bergeron, I mean, the two of them, as well as David Pastrnak, you guys have a really great group of starting forwards.
Yeah, we sure do. And we also have, I think, in my opinion, we have the best goalkeeper in the league. I mean, Tuukka Rask, he's just amazing. Even though he's planning on retiring this year, which is a bummer. He is just, man, he's saving amazing. I mean, he did let 4 inside the net for the Capitals, but he played out of his mind. He's been doing great overall this season.
Yeah, I would agree that he's probably the best goalie. I feel like you guys also have one of the top backup goalies. His name's Halak, right?
Yes, I think that is his name. Yes.
Yeah, and from what I've seen, he's also very consistent. Used to be a starter, now he's a backup. But yeah, you guys have a really good goal-saving unit, and that's one of the reasons that I think you might actually be better than Washington, because I don't trust Washington's goalies as much as I trust Boston's.
Yeah, I mean, if you have Tuukka Rask, he's very good. It would be really a bummer to see him retire after this season, but I won't be surprised if the Bruins win the cup and they retire and he just retires this season. I mean,
yeah,
that's definitely happen. It's a good
way
to go out.
And you'd want him to go out on a high note rather than retire after a losing season. So hopefully, if he does retire, it's after a victory.
Yeah, we need a victory for Baltimore.
Yeah, well, I think with that, that's
this was definitely yeah.
Yeah, I think with that, that's probably a pretty good video we've done. So we're gonna wrap this one up for today. This has been the NHL Icebreaker. Go check out the Pats Nation channel as well as the NW Sportscast.
Yes, go check us out. Thank you.
And tune in next week for the next episode of the NHL Icebreaker.